So if I had time traveled back to teenage Codey and said, you're going to win a ring someday, would you have imagined it would be a World Series ring? I think that seems like the safe bet.
I think that would have been the safe bet. I'd have probably wanted it to be an NBA championship ring, but I'd have probably been realistic enough to think that it would have been a World Series ring, if anything. So winning the football ring, I never expected it, but it was an awesome experience, and I really enjoyed last year.
Yeah, so you have one of the most unconventional paths I've ever heard of to get to this league. So why don't you take us through it? Give us the resume bullet point order here. Let's start back in high school where you didn't even play football in high school.
Right, so I went to a really small high school. There was 18 kids in my class, so we didn't have football. We played fall baseball and then basketball in the winter and then spring baseball. I always kind of thought baseball was going to be the sport I played. That was my passion. I loved it. I worked hard at it. From there, I went to the University of Texas for a year and played baseball. From there, I got drafted by the Atlanta Braves, so I went off, played 2 seasons of minor league baseball, and in my contract with the Braves, they said they would pay for all of my school if I ever decided to go back to school. So I kind of had the basketball itch, so I went to Oklahoma State and walked on the basketball team there and graduated from Oklahoma State. All I knew was sports. I wanted to be a coach. My dad was a coach growing up. For the kids, in coaching, I didn't feel like I was ready for that responsibility. So I went back to school. I was going to get a degree in safety. So I enrolled at Southeastern Oklahoma State College. I was on campus there. I was taking all the intro to safety classes. They were all pretty easy. So I had a lot of free time. One day I was walking around campus and saw they had a football field.
You're like, what's that?
I was like, yeah, I didn't know they had a football team. So I go down and I talked to the coach. He asked me if I'd ever played football, and I said no, but if you could use a body, I got a year left of eligibility.
I got a big one,
I got a body you could use. He said, well, run a corner route. And I asked him, I didn't know what a corner route was. He said, run 12 yards, run towards the corner. So I ran 12 yards, ran towards the corner, caught the pass, and he said, yeah, we could use a body. 4 days later, suited up for the first time and played my first game. And was lucky enough for the Rams to sign me the following year as an undrafted free agent, and been going at it since then.
Do you feel like it would be safe to say you've got to be one of the people with the least amount of football experience to have a Super Bowl ring?
I think that's a pretty safe bet to say.
I don't know that there's a Wikipedia page entry
for that. Well, everybody here
but
got one, so maybe some people inside working don't have as much experience as I do. But as far as players-wise,
yeah, that's true.
I think
have less experience than you having a Super Bowl ring. But yeah, for someone that was actually on the field doing it.
I think that's safe
incredible.
To say.
So many different steps there, multiple different places of baseball and even professional and coaching, and then walked on for basketball, walked on for football. What even gave you the idea to try all these different things? I mean, I feel like there are so many people that it would never have occurred to them, having never played football, why not? I'm gonna give it a try.
I remember when I got done playing baseball and I came back home and I told my parents I was gonna finish school, and I told my dad, I was like, I'd like to play basketball. And so I went to Stillwater, and I was gonna go inside the gym and try to find somebody that could get me in contact with somebody that maybe knew the coach or something, try to figure out how it was gonna work. And right before I went in, my dad told me, he said, hey, go ahead and say whatever you want to say, because you only get one chance at something like this. Kind of since then, everything I've gone at in my life, like if I wanted to do it, I just kind of tried it, and you only get one chance, and so try to make the best impression you can. And if it works out, great, and if it's not meant to be.
Looking at this diverse experience that you have, how do you think it has impacted the kind of player you are now for the Buccaneers?
So it's been huge. Kind of growing up, I was always the best player on my team. When I was a baseball player and I was first in the locker room where I wasn't the best player on the team, I really didn't know how to handle it. Learning how to be a role player, learning how to be a guy that's just in the locker room before I got to football helped me out a lot, because when I got to football, I wasn't the guy that was getting all the reps or things like that. So I think being the best player and also being the guy at the very bottom has kind of taught me how to blend in the locker room and understand my role. I'm not Gronk. I'm not competing with Gronk for his job. My job, even though we're both tight ends, is completely different from his. And I think going to all the different places and being different areas on the totem pole throughout my career has really taught me to understand that and just take advantage of that.
And so what are the things the coaches are wanting from you, and what do you think it's going to be that if you're able to make this roster and be a contributor this year on a defending Super Bowl team, what is it going to be because of?
Right, I think so. Obviously my blocking has gotten better, and it's got to continue to get better, and special teams as well. Those are two things. Pass catching kind of came more naturally to me. If I can continue to develop in those areas, special teams and the blocking game, that's something that can give me an opportunity to make the roster.
Your football career, do you feel like you've won a ring, you've caught a pass in a game.
Right.
Do you already view this as more than you could have ever imagined, or what are the goals for football and then even post-football life?
It's more than I could have ever imagined. I'm very thankful to be in my 4th training camp. and just very thankful for getting a look. You know, I hadn't got a ton of reps before in training camps and in preseason games, so I'm getting a look this year, and I can't ask for any more than that. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I'm not going to say if I don't make the roster, if I don't stick somewhere, this is a failure, because I don't think it is. You know, I'm working hard every day. I'm not leaving anything out there on the field, so whatever happens, happens and comes from that. Moving forward, you know, I got a couple ideas back home that I'd like to do in Oklahoma City when I'm done with football, but I've learned you can't really plan for next year throughout the last, 8 or 10 years of my life. You know, I've done a lot of different things, so I kind of wait for the opportunity to arise and take advantage of it, and I think I'll figure that out when I get there.